Hi, this is Larry Novarita again with Nova Woodworks, and I want to do an update on the last video I did on my bandsaw. It was on dust collection systems and things like that, and the upgrade on the vacuum system. So I got a few things I want to show you. This won't take long, but before I get started, I wanted to show you, I've got a new sign I want to put up in my driveway, and my brother-in-law Mike Kickert and my sister Cheryl Kickert from Dyer, Indiana made me a sign. And it's based on the Forest Service park signs. And he's got a bandsaw, table saw, chop saw, circular saw. So he's got all different kind of things out there. U.S. Department of Millwork, and that's what I do. Pretty much a millwork job. So if anybody out there would be interested in a sign, they can get a hold of him or her at www.lightthewayssigns.com. Okay, so let's go inside the shop and I'll show you what I want to show you about the bandsaw. In my last video, I did some upgrades here on the vacuum system, and you can already see I've got a few more compared to that last video. I replaced all the hoses. I replaced this hose, I replaced that hose down there, and also this hose down here. And in that video, I had said that I had an opening back here for the dust collection and one here. Well, I found out that this one here was taking too much suction out of the vacuum system, so I closed it off on the inside. So now all I have is this back hole that sucks from the back of the saw, and also the front, which takes it from right where the blade comes out of the table. So I found that's much better. And but the other thing I want to go over is I want to go over my dust unit, my Harbor Freight 2-horse dust collector on the back. And I went on YouTube and found a few things that I can upgrade this. So that's what I wanted to show you on how this is upgraded. And I still got a few more to do tomorrow, but I will show you right now what's going on. All right, one of the first things I found out that when I took this 5-inch hose off the Harbor Freight dust collector, there was all kind of stuff crammed in here. And why it was, because this was connected to the intake, the 5-inch intake on the dust collector, and all the strands of wood and everything caught against there and actually plugged it up. I was getting almost no suction. Well, I was getting very little suction. So cut that out. That's gone. Now I have a free opening here, and it works much better. I get a much better suction power. So, okay, and another thing too is when I went on YouTube and I found out that you can replace the impeller in here to an upgrade, which I will do in the next day or two. And I also got a anemometer, which tells you the wind speed and the suction power of what's happening at the time. So I got that, and I want to show you that, how that got it figured now. And this is before I do any kind of upgrades to it. And when I get it done, then I'll do another test, and we'll see how much better it is. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to test with the anemometer that I just got. And I see this on YouTube also, and I forgot the guy, but I ordered one from Amazon. And the reason I hooked this little oak piece on here is because now I can take this thing and hold it across here right in the center, so I'm not changing the position of it as it's being, plus it won't suck it into the impeller. So it'll always be the same reading, because it really varies on this reading a lot. It goes up and down, but this will make it a much steadier reading. So, okay, I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to get a reading, and then see what it's like. This is just with the Harbor Freight dust collector, and the exhaust goes into my bigger dust collector. That's not going to be on this time, just the Harbor Freight. Here we go. that shows me it's about, that shows me it's about 3,200. Well, right now it's at 0, but right now it shows me it's 3,200 RPM. That was kind of a good average, okay? So we'll go with that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the Harbor Freight dust collector system with my big dust collector system. It's a Laguna T-Flux 5, and you can see that it's piped all along here, from here, and it goes to right over there in the corner. So I'm going to turn that on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the CFM that's coming right off of that dust collector by itself. Okay, so the next test I'm going to do, I won't have the motor from the 2-horse motor turned on. I'm going to turn on the motor from my Laguna 5-horse. Let me do that real quick. Read about 3,400 lineal feet per minute, and that came out to be 1850 CFM. I put it into the calculator that I got online, engineering calculator, to figure out CFM. So that's what that's putting on. By the way, the Harbor Freight dust collector by itself, that was 3,200 lineal feet per minute, which came out to be 1,745 cubic feet a minute. So it increased a little bit. Just my Laguna dust collector is a little more powerful than this, but it is pulling from the other side of the room. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this one on, and I'm going to turn my Laguna on at the same time and see what we get over here. Alright, I want to start my Laguna dust collector first, and then I'll put the Harbor Freight one on. That's Laguna. All right, by having both my Laguna on and the Harbor Freight dust collector on, the actual lineal feet per minute, according to my anemometer, is 4,700 lineal feet per minute. When you plug all the numbers into the calculator, that comes out to 2,570 cubic feet per minute. So that's a pretty good amount. And from the original 1745 to 2,570, it really makes a difference. And it's already made a difference on the last resaw job I had, especially when you clean out the junk from the plugged up port, the 5-inch port. And all this was figured out on a 5-inch port, because that's what's on the exit of the Harbor Freight collector. And what I'm going to do here is put a new turbine, and here I want to show you over here. Just bring the camera over here. And this is the new turbine wheel that I'm going to put in tomorrow. And there's a lot of videos online how that goes in, so I'm not even going to go over that. But I'll put that in tomorrow, and that goes right in here, and it replaces the old turbine fan. So we'll see what happens there and how much it increases. And when I do get that installed, we'll go over the test results and see what an improvement it was. So, okay, till then. Okay, this is my lower door of the bandsaw. And you can see I push it in, and it just automatically goes out because that's the way it does. But I want to turn on both my dust collectors, and you'll see how it actually pulls it in. That's how strong this dust collector is now. So keep this going, and I'll turn these on, and you'll see. There Well, hello again. It's been a couple days since I last took a video, and I just want to go over a few things what I did in those last couple of days. So I took measurements with the anemometer before and after my upgrade, and I did replace the fan in that Harbor Freight housing. There is the old one. Like I say, there's plenty of videos online how to take that off and put the new one in. It was no problem at all. So I also had to take off all those little screws around the housing cover, and I resealed it real good. I also took off the plastic housing that goes into the exit of the impeller. Took off that, made sure that was not leaking, and actually there was a leak in the seam right up above that I just filled it with epoxy, and that seems to do just fine. I think it'll work just great, so we'll see. But that was what I did there. So I got all that, and I said earlier, I changed all my hoses out. What I did was I cleaned it off real good, because I'm going to give you some numbers here pretty soon, before and after. Kind of surprising. But anyway, I cleaned it real good because I want to do the real world test after I resaw and see just how much sawdust is in there. Well, right now there is none. And the bottom is good, so we're ready to rock and roll here. And what I'm going to test it on is some boards here that I just picked up the other day. It's for my customer that he sells, after I resaw him, he sells for guitar sets. They're book match pieces, and these pieces happen to be spalted maple, some burl. That's like a 15.5-inch high burl piece. Each one has to be cut into, each slice is about 1/4 inch wide after sanding, and that should give me a pretty good test of just how much dust is left after I have all the vacuums on, and see just if that really improved any. So okay, I'm going to take you over to where I want to show you the numbers on this thing, and like I say, it's very interesting. And I took them all off that 5-inch port. That's where they took off, right off of that. Here's a couple numbers for you that I took. And this first page is before the upgrades that I made, and pretty much that means before I put that new impeller in there. Everything, like I said, is taken off the 5-inch opening off that Harbor Freight dust collector. So there's the readings of the 5-inch opening, just the dust collector on the Harbor Freight dust collector on only, and they got 3,200 lineal feet, which comes out to 1745 CFM. So then I shut that off, turned the Laguna dust collector on, and measured just that only, and that was 3,400, a little bit more, 1850 CFM, and then both of them on at the same time, measuring off the 5-inch Harbor Freight opening. I have 4,700 lineal feet and 2570 CFM. So anyway, after the upgrade and putting that impeller in there, here's the results, which are surprisingly a surprise. The first one is the same. I thought it'd be more because the impeller is bigger, but it didn't change any. The second one, just the Laguna by itself, that's the same, and I understand that. But the Harbor Freight and Laguna both on at the same time, you got 4650 linear feet per minute, 53.5 miles per hour, and 2540 CFM. So that means it's 30 CFM less than from when the old impeller was in there. I don't know. It came out pretty good. I'm glad I did it. Was it worth it? It's 50, 60 bucks worth of parts. And I think it will be in the long run. I think in actual sucking up the dust, we'll see when I finish resawing all that wood I showed you earlier. And we'll go with that. See that test. So I've got my off-feed table set up for this. I've got the first board in place. And like I say, it's gonna cut it a little over 1/4 inch, and then I sand it down to 1/4 inch. So I should get for sure 2 sets out of here, which is 4 pieces. And we'll take all these pictures and see what happens. See how much dust we make here in the shop. All right, let's give her a try. All right, that's that first board I cut, and that's actually myrtle wood. It's not spalted, but I put them together, and you can see how they're book matched to make a guitar set, or these might be slides. I don't know. I'm not a guitar maker, but I'm glad I stopped because I checked and I forgot to put little marks on the ends of these boards. That's real important, so that when they do come off and I put them back together and sand them, they all stay in that same position. Otherwise, you'd have a heck of a time to try to put them together the way they were. Anyway, okay, we're going to continue on. There's a little sawdust there. I forgot to actually turn on my Harbor Freight dust collector. Can you believe that? All this work I've done. But anyway, we'll continue on, and when I get all through, we'll see what we got. Well, here you go. It's definitely not dust free. I mean, there's quite a bit on top of the table. Most of it came from where that crank wheel is, from the top of the saw. Just kind of dropped down on that table. And then, so here's the load of wood that I just resawed. And it came out pretty good. Need to sand it. And that'll be done. So the 16-inch one gave me a little bit of trouble. It came out okay. And there's the bottom. Let's go open this thing up and see what we got in here. Alright, at the top, a little sawdust in there. Nothing on the top door, nothing collected in there. But now, down here, we got a little bit in the corner there. Got some there. So, I don't know, I'm not thoroughly satisfied with it. Not bad. There's what's left around on the floor, which is not too bad. And then back here, this is what I'm pretty happy with. right where the motor and everything is. It's you can see there's a couple little gaps in there. Losing a little sawdust. And on the front, that looks good. So really sealed up a lot of the leaks in that Harbor Freight blower. I'll have to fix that, probably with a piece of tape. looks like that's a duct tape fix. So I don't know. It's not bad. I mean, it's a lot of resawing. It won't take long, a few minutes to clean up with a small vac, and we'll be good to go to the next one. All right, well, if I come up with any wonderful ideas on how to make this absolutely dust-free, I will come along in another video and hopefully pass along that info. All right, everybody, thanks for watching.